Hello all. I want to talk about a rent calculator. This is the second area of discussion. When I click here, this is my salary. I make $80,000 per year and I don't have any credit card payment, loan payment. Now I click calculate. It tells me if I want to rent an apartment or a house, it would be reasonable. It is safe if my rent is around 1,867 a month. Now, if I want to rent something more expensive, up to $2,400 would be okay with a salary of $80,000. However, I should be careful if the rent is $3,000. Why? Because if it is $3,000, 3,000 times 12, which is 1 year, that is 36,000. That means out of my $80,000, almost imagine that maybe 15,000 goes for taxes, remains 75,000. Out of 75, I have to pay almost, half of it for my rent. That's too much to pay for the rent. Therefore, this calculator helps you to figure out how much rent you can afford. Or if you are a landlord, someone comes and wants to, rent an apartment from you. You ask the person how much his or her salary is. If it is $80,000, and imagine you have different apartments, you would tell him that his or her salary is good for the apartment that you have, which is 1,867. If you have an expensive apartment, which is $4,000 a month, you would not give that to the person who has a salary of 80,000. Now, imagine that this person has $1,000 a month. Do you see monthly debt? That paycheck has 1,000 has to pay. That means his or her salary now is limited because 12,000, 1,000 a month goes for credit card, student loan, and those things. Now this person won't be able to afford this rent. Now what he or she can afford is much less. And then I click calculate. Do you see that? You will tell this person, let's say you are a landlord. The person comes to you and tells you he or she wants to rent an apartment. And then your answer would be you have different apartments with different rental prices. For this person with $80,000 as annual salary and with $1,000 of monthly rent, this person is safe to rent an apartment from you that is $867 a month, or the maximum he or she wants, an apartment with $1,400. You won't let the person to rent an apartment from you, which is an expensive apartment, which is $2,000. Or think about it as your salary. When you have this much salary, you have this much credit card you pay a month. If you want to be in a safe side, don't rent anything more than $1,400. For this assignment, what I want you to do, I want you to change this number to whatever you want to make. Let's say you are making $30,000. And then you have the payment every month of, let's say, $400 you pay for credit cards and a student loan. And you click calculate. Therefore, the apartment that you can afford renting is something between $300 to $400. Therefore, what I want you to do is, if possible, do not, I'm sorry, this screen popped up. Do not put the same number that was here. Put anything that you want. You want to put 40,000, you put 40,000. But in my case, in original case, I just put mine, which was original, in 8,000, and maybe I changed this one to 1,000. And then I put the explanation on the discussion board, and I click calculate. After it calculates, okay, calculate. I don't know why it is not picking the number in here. Again, I'll go here, financial, rent calculator, 80,000, and this one is 1,000. Let's see if, okay, it came. Now I am going to copy this one. What I want you to do, take this one, copy whatever you put in here, put it on the discussion board. And as I said, discussion board won't show this $80,000 and this 1,000. Why it doesn't show? Because they are in these boxes and it doesn't recognize. Therefore, you have to type it next to this pre-tax income. Let's look at here. If you don't know how to do it, wait until other students do. Also, I want you one more time is that read these. These are excellent information for you to learn about, rent and other things, location, size. You will learn significantly by reading this. And this is, then when you do this, look how I do. I take this one, I click copy, and then I go to the discussion board, which is here, and then I click new thread, and here is the rent calculator. Rent calculator. Here you go. Rent calculator. And then I put the information in here. And do you see if I click, and let me, this one, I will make it a little larger. As soon as I click submit, this $80,000 will disappear. Therefore, I type it here, okay? Income of 80,000, credit card, and student loan of 1,000 a month, okay? And then this is, and then if you scroll down here, scroll up, this is what you can afford. You can afford up to 1,400, okay? You can afford up to 1,400. And here I can rewrite it. I want to make sure you understand. Max that you can afford is 14. And, safe. It is safe to, rent something which is, you can even copy and paste this one from here. And if I were you, I would do one last thing. Do you see this calculator? I am going to use print screen and copy the whole screen. And look at here. I click here, and I paste it. I paste it right in here. That way, it will show the whole screen. Therefore, if you can do this, that would be perfect. And then I am going to scroll down, and I am going to click post. And if I click here, content, let's see if it posted. It is posting. Post. Okay, it did post it. Rent calculator. And if you look at here, as you see, this is 80K that I typed. Do you remember I said the box won't appear? The box is supposed to be here to write 80,000. It didn't write. Per month, it didn't write. But fortunately, I was able to write this 1,000. I was able to write this 8,000. And it shows, and this is the screen. If you want to enlarge the screen, you will be able to, see. Here you go. I zoom it, and I can zoom. And as you see, every information is here. And these problems, try to do them the way I said, and I am going to put video for every calculation. And that way you learn about them, and we can have a little discussion about this. These calculators are extremely important, and I want you to be familiar with them, because it's not just the rent, it is credit cards, everything. Therefore, this is a very important week, and these calculations are very important.